Hello and welcome to the second game of the best of three in the semi-finals between Dullahan, down here as the Orcs, and Bikerushownz, up here as the Marines, in the ESL 7 weekly tournament for NA. So, Bikerushownz here, going with this pretty standard right now game plan with the Angelos to be just the big tanky frontline distractor force that he is in the mid game, the Iron Maw to control the early game, and Solaria as a late game way to finish off the enemy. And on the Orc side, you have again Gorguts, Wazmaka, and the Mad Dread, as Dullahan seems to be liking. Boys Hut and War Tower down straight away as standard. Marine player can just make tax out of the stronghold and be happy with that. I'm not sure if I've ever talked about these buildings much in a cast, but just to warn you all, I will call them TCs most of the time if I do. I might accidentally call it a CC once, but you know, whatever, doesn't matter. So we've got just orcs throughout the map. Interesting servitor up here trying to slow down the procurement of this elite generator. I quite like this as a little play. Getting these elite generators, especially on this map on Comet's Pass, it's very common to get these elite generators very early because they are right hidden at the back and you really have to actually put some effort in to take them out rather than these maps where they're right in the middle. So slowing this down and stopping him getting it will mean that you slow down. The whole purpose of this is to get it as soon as possible and to hold it for as long as possible so that you get your elites out faster. And just having this delay this, that's 50 requisition to delay him, you know, a good amount of points here. Orcs finding some Marines. These Marines going to be fine because there is a drop pod coming up. Chase away these boys who are just going to get out fine. Now both players have their elite point, but no one has taken them yet. There are Orcs pushing up on this side point by Bikerushownz. He's going to lose a requisition generator, unfortunately, which is quite a big loss for this early on. You know, this happens. Orc's going to take that point. Bikerushownz likes to take these very aggressive early points, but his Marines were used defensively in the side, and so he didn't have anything to use for them. But he's got up to 4 tactical squads now, which is, you know, quite a powerful number. I assume he will go for an arsenal as soon as he has the money and try and start getting a flamer out. We have, once again, goddamn nerd Bikerushownz orienting his buildings in the right direction so that I can't see the cool animation. But this fight is actually going to go off right after the war has gone down, so this isn't too great, but the banner is going to counteract some of that force, and he does have his 4th Marine squad here. He's backing up quite well up the high ground, but this does mean he has lost his banner, which is unfortunate. The Orcs are hyping themselves up and are going to continue chasing. The Orcs can get 2 of the Marines out of the fight here, but they're still overall very close in power, these armies, although the Marines are just getting chipped down more. The Orcs don't seem to be taking that much damage with the hype and the war and everything, but no Marines will be taken down. A very interesting aggressive barracks coming out here. He's literally just built the barracks here and is going to create a scout squad to hold this off. I very much like this because this is just putting pressure on, pushing out that early advantage, and if he can secure this and take this point and not lose his point on the other side, very importantly, he will be in an advantage. Dullahan has 2 choices now. He can either try and come over here to defend this point and retake it, or he can hit this side point. I would probably say that hitting this side point harder would be better, at least sending 1 squad of boys down there to clear this off and then come up here and see if they have the elite point generator, although he does not. But you do have Kill Team Iron Maw out now, which, to be fair, would have put a stop to that if you only sent a squad of boys. But this is going to be now a hard position to crack because he can reinforce these Marines right here. He is going to go for it, though. He's firing up a war. And the Marines are actually going to just run into this. Bikerushownz is getting some bad times with the Marines here, but he's going to drop the kill team right in behind. He's going to jump the Assault Marines in right onto the war tower, trying to kill it off before the war goes down. He won't manage to. And now, unfortunately, he's got slightly of his army just caught in here. The Assault Marines are going to get onto the shooters, which is good, but they're going to have to jump out now. The Vortex Grenade is going to go down. The Tactical Marines are getting some good damage out now, but Gretchen, very well controlled, going to get out there and get into combat with the Marines. A good stick bomb. And the kill team is dead. So that's a throwaway of a hero there by Bikerush. That has not gone very well for him. He didn't manage to pin the boys down at all because he went for the War Tower. He didn't manage to kill the War Tower before it warred, and he just had no way of getting his kill team out of there. So a very good engagement coming down as the second fight for Dullahan. He is still behind on map control, but this map control isn't actually giving Bikerush anything yet because he hasn't managed to make points in all this. The boys are going to get behind here and get onto this point, but they're going to start getting shot at by some Marines, so they're going to back off a bit. Getting some hype going on, so they're going to look like they're going to try and fight this. This does go in favor of the boys, unless there are more reinforcements here, and this point is getting snuckily taken by Gretchen's as well, which is ruining all of this map control that Bikerush has been going for. But he is, as a response, going to push into the center where he knows they cannot have a full force of boys up at this moment. Looks like he is going to go and search for that elite generator, leaving one squad of Marines to take that point. He will find the pile of guns and the generator down here. Can't hide in that smoke because of the pile of guns. So useful little side benefit of that placement. But he is going to take out the elite point generator and do some damage to this pile of guns. His first squad of Marines getting caught up here quite badly by some shooters there, but they're going to get away with it. He's going to push down to here, and Bikerush should be able to sneak out with all these Marines, but he's not going to get anything other than the elite generator. And a very aggressive listening post being made here by the Orcs. If he can survive it, these Marines can just kill these Gretchens and get it fine. He's got a dropper coming in as well, so he will be fine. These boys running up here, interested to see, are they going to try and do some harassment? They could probably take out some generators if they actually move to the back of here. But now the game is sort of backed off. The map is kind of interestingly split at the moment, kind of oddly split, but Bikerush is taking back his side of the map piece by piece. He's still got this forward point here, which, although he's not got a generator on it yet, is going to give him an advantage, and the war has now been popped in the middle of the map. Unfortunately, he won't find anything. Just a scout squad. Oh, good dodge there by Dullahan. That was well played. But a bit of a waste of war there. Early looters, very nice to see these. I think this is the way that Orcs play the most powerful now, especially against a player like Bikerush, who doesn't bring Jonah the Librarian around. But there is now Marines in his backline going for the resources. Dullahan is, however, going for the attack on the shield generator, which is an interesting choice since Orcs don't really have a powerful way to kill shield generators early. Trucks are probably still their best offer for that. Splitting up his Marines a bit better at the back. Going to take out the shield generator. Oh, these guys, actually, that might just be a miss micro. I might have almost given him credit for something he didn't want to do. But the kill team now trying to stop this. They are saving the shield generator right now, but they're going to take a lot of damage in the fight for it. They're going to have to run away. They don't have any reinforcements to come either, so these Orcs can just stay here and hype up, although the flamethrower will mean that they probably have to back off of this. They don't want to chase into the shield generator. But in the back over here, it looks like all of Bikerush being teleported out. No, they're fine. They're fine. I was worried for a moment there. I thought, whoa, holy hell, did this game just go to shit that quickly? But no. Dullahan hold off, though. He did lose his points back here. He actually has no resource points at all now. But Bikerush doesn't have many. He's got two power, and this one requisition. And to be fair, with the amount of requisition you get just from, just the base rates of it, which I think are probably too high. Like, you can see these guys are not having trouble making decently sized armies. And the advantage you get from getting more requisition is not worth it compared to the advantage you get of getting the earlier amount of power. And these Marines, are they actually going to just sneak away like that? No. Okay, yeah, they're dead. Kill team getting taken out there by a combination of Wazmaka and some looters. Looters very powerful early on. Very got some tank busters as well. This is something that Dullahan has done in a few games recently, which can actually be his downfall, is that I think he's playing a bit too much like last patch, where he's getting the tank busters as soon as possible, because tank busters as Orcs are really the the main power of your sort of mid-game army is tank busters. Tank busters are things that keep you in the game, that let you defeat those much more sort of traditionally powerful armies that come out of Space Marines and Eldar. And however, I think Dullahan has started getting them a bit too soon now, because right now, I'd rather than having these two thingy boys, I prefer to have another squad of looters. You know, looters are gonna do a much better amount against all of these Marines. Is that Marine really gonna go in? Okay, thank God he didn't. That would have been a tragedy. Good setup of scrap, just in case Bikerushownz tries to fight this and he needs to go for the turrets. Now, having some of them is obviously good for taking out buildings like this. I just feel like maybe you'd want, rather than 2 tank busters and a looter, maybe you'd want, you know, 2 looters and a tank buster. But, you know, I have seen him go a bit too far on. I could see him making more looters now, and then I would think he had too many. But we'll have to see. He's you know, I'm sure he is has seen that his tank busters can sometimes be useless in some of these fights. We have tank marines just round the back doing some harassment. Some assault marines over here. Actually going to jump around. This is actually bad for Bikerushownz. He is expecting that these generators will have been rebuilt, but they actually just haven't. Orc sticking on surprisingly low amount of generators. He just has been using all of his money for army, and since he has been taking good engagements and not losing any of his army, it's actually worked out quite well for him. He is going to go for a power generator just as Bikerushownz arrives, which unless he cancels it is going to be quite upsetting. He does cancel. His boys are also coming right back. And this is very interesting. What we've just heard there is that the land speeder coming out from Bikerushownz, this is something that was very popular before the patch. Land speeders were sort of, you'd always get at least 1 or 2 before you had got to the escalation phase where you could have enough power out to be getting dreadnoughts and to be moving towards predators. But most people I've seen have been going for more whirlwinds, or just skipping them entirely to rush up to getting predators as soon as possible. Dullahan once again slightly ignoring the last model, but it will go down. Both teams now have their elite point generators up, so they're going to be moving up to this late game elites much faster. Got some grots looking around. We have a second land speeder coming out. But Bikerushownz's army is actually really small right now. He has also been not remaking requisition gens across the map. He only has power gens. So he hasn't had a huge amount of spare requisition to make more units with. This has been very consistently Bikerushownz's style, but I feel like it might bite him here. He doesn't have a large amount of marines, and that's what I was saying with these tank busters, is that when you have like a huge amount of tanks and you're just firing rockets into them, that's just not going to go well. It requires a lot more micro than you usually would want to put in. However, when his army is 2 tactical squads and 2 land speeders, like, I'm pretty sure these 2 rocket squads, they're gonna one-shot land speeders. Land speeders do not stand up to tank busters. So, although these are very good units, they're just going to fly in, get one shot by tank busters, and then you're only going to have 2 tactical marine squads to face a whole horde of orcs. I mean, what Bikerushownz does seem to do in these sort of situations is that he will happily rely on Kill Team and Gabriel Angelos to hold off the mid game, to just distract and hold the army back and keep time until the later escalation phases where he can get predators out. But he's now dropped his kill team in the back to help these land speeders take out this listening post. That is a smart idea. The kill team have the shields which they can let dry down, whereas the land speeders don't. Land speeders just start taking hull damage immediately, which is an important part of them. But tank busters are here. He needs to be careful not to get hit by them. Gonna get some suicide squigs running up towards kill team, but they don't do much to normal armor, so that's okay. He's making a whirlwind now. Whirlwind, as I've said, very popular nowadays because look how clumpy these orc armies are gonna get. You know, in the old patch when orcs couldn't really make that much stuff, they really had to rely on just a few units inside of a couple of trucks. And you would see armies that, rather than being this big horde with a truck, would be 3 trucks, each with a unit or 2 inside and a couple of heroes around. But now you get these big, huge, clumpy targets, which are just perfect shots for whirlwinds if your opponent doesn't move up. Now, he has moved his whirlwind up pretty far, which means he could get caught out here. He could get quite badly caught out here. Although he is dropping something on top of it, which I assume will be a defensive dreadnought, perhaps. Oh no, he just actually he picked the whirlwind up. That wasn't something I've ever seen anyone do, but that was actually credit to Bikerush. That was a good move. I didn't even think of that, and now he's going to get a decent shot in, but Dullahan's already taken that. Oh, he's actually going to run right into it. That was kind of upsetting, but he didn't take many extra hits from it, and he's actually now going to push this because he's realised that apart from this whirlwind, Bikerush's whole force is really back. Here we have land speeders, we have the kill team. Angelos is going to come in, and they're going to back off, which is sensible because unfortunately does lose the truck. That is quite a big loss. Angelos will very happily stunlock your entire army if they're clumped up. And underneath a tower, you do not want to have your entire army stunlocked, especially when a second whirlwind has come out now. And this has given these land speeders a good amount of time to just sit in the back and go crazy. The kill team have actually managed to set up this point so that he's going to get his own elite point generator on there, which is pretty crazy. And this is something that Dullahan is going to have to stop because Solaria is going to be coming out. And Solaria, as much as sometimes when players don't control her well, she can be entirely disappointing. She should be just a we got Solaria out, we win the game button. Honestly, if you get that hero out, you should never lose. And I especially with how safe Bikerush plays in the later stages of the game, I trust that he will not throw away Solaria too stupidly. Kill team, however, unfortunately, are just dead here. I think Bikerush probably knew that. Oh, big hit there coming out from some rockets. That's half the health of one of these land speeders gone. Got some more shooters over here, which are taking out some of this huge map advantage that Bikerush has. He's getting the speeders out. This is the one thing that Bikerush is really good at. He can be decent at times of keeping his squads alive, which is one of the things that allows him to sort of play such a low requisition style. But the one thing he is good at is just taking map control and just having all of these listening posts around the map with just all of these power generators, getting him that big money that can push him into this late game. So we've got some tax just sneaking in here, getting some vision of what's happening. Some land speeders rolling around. Oh, and we're going to have whirlwinds hit as well. Not hitting hugely on this army, but doing some damage to these structures. This boy's hut is going to go down. It's not a huge deal, but it's annoying. Whirlwind's just going to recharge. This is definitely the most aggressive use of whirlwinds I have ever seen, honestly. And he's actually making 2 more whirlwinds as well, so he's just going to be... I think this is too much. This, in my opinion, is just too much. Like, cool, like, make some whirlwinds, redeploy them, fire again, but when you have that many whirlwinds, like, if your whirlwinds don't get these huge hits, and we've seen, he's done some good damage to structures, but in terms of armies, like, it's really been more of the sort of fear factor of getting hit by whirlwinds than actual whirlwind hits that have held Dullahan back in this game. And when you have this many whirlwinds, you can just get run over. Because if your whirlwinds don't get good hits, the army are just going to get on top of them and just shred them. So whirlwind hit going down here, and there's 2 whirlwind hits. And neither of them did a huge amount of damage, but they've softened the orcs enough that they're going to back up a bit. And now here we go. This is something that I've seen in a few other games. This Mad Dread actually one-hits whirlwinds. If this tunnels down into the back and starts just bipping whirlwinds, he could kill them really fast. Now he's going to get hit by another whirlwind shot, which he probably won't be expecting, as I don't think it's too usual to get that many whirlwinds, but he's getting some shots in here. Some suicide squids. Getting some long-range hits on this tower. And there we go. The Dread has gone into the back line. He hasn't actually killed any yet. I believe that damage is all from his thing. Oh, he's not one-hitting them in this game. I don't know why that is. I guess it's because of the different things he's taken, and maybe upgrades. Maybe he got a armory upgrade before it died. He's also taken this, which only says it can redeploy them. I don't know if that changed anything. I'm disappointed that we're not going to get to see them one-shot. But, I mean, this is exactly what I was sort of saying. You know, the Whirlwinds have been messed up by the fact that this Dread is just sitting amongst them. And now Dullahan just walks up and kills the front of his base. And now what has he got to defend this? He has Angelos. Mad Dread is just destroying all of the Whirlwinds in here. And what has he got? Bikerush did not build an army in this game. He just built artillery. And it's a mistake that I've seen a few players make, and I just think making 1 or 2 Whirlwinds is absolutely brilliant, but 3, I think that's too many, and 4. Imagine if, you know, instead of a couple of those Whirlwinds, he had another Dreadnought here. He would have cleared this up. This would not have worked. There are already so few orcs left in this army. The Mad Dread is going ham, punching more mechs down, gonna kill this Dreadnought. But that one Dreadnought and Gabriel did a good amount to this army. If he just, instead of that, had 2 Dreadnoughts, this would have been a very different game. This core does take a long time to go down though. He's only got poise on it, to be fair. I assume the Mad Dread will get in there and start hitting it soon. Wazmaka is giving it a bit of boot while traction up this Dreadnought. There is another Whirlwind out. It's going to fire a barrage, but it's not actually hitting anything really. Just knocked Wazmaka over for a bit. And now after that one barrage, which didn't really do anything, the Whirlwind is sitting here useless. It just cannot help. This is now invulnerable, which means Dullahan actually turns around to kill the rest of these Marines. Putting a load of bits of scrap up here in front of this. And then all the scrap turrets. Look at that. Going to be another shot going out here from the Whirlwind. Where's it going to hit? But it just, that just didn't really hit anything. Knocked those 2 up. Got basically 1 hit on each of these. We've got knobs in here as well now. Got looters, Wazmaka hitting this. Is that another Dreadnought getting dropped from back? That's actually a Whirlwind. He just dropped that Whirlwind in order to knock people up. But it's the end of the game, and I think that was simply no army coming out from Bikerush. Just far too much on Whirlwinds. And even with far too much going into Whirlwinds, you know, that army was getting pretty small there at the end. If he just managed to hold that off and push back out, he could have really had something there. But that means this is a series, and we're going to have to go into Game 3 to see who wins between Bikerush and Dullahan.